Hello. Well, yesterday we got our footings poured, as you can see here, and the process was a mess. So I'm just going to kind of tell you a little bit about that. But first, let me kind of give you a close-up so you can see what I'm talking about. So these are the footings, and as you can see, they are not nice and smooth. Not that they have to be. They're structurally fine. There's a little divot there, and some lumps and bumps down there. It's much nicer, much smoother. Um, and let me see, over here there's a section that I think is a little bit bumped up. There's some cracking, not cracking, but little potholes and whatnot on the top of that guy. Largely, it does not look nice, which is fine for a footing because it's going to be buried. Basically, what I got to do now is I got to get the forms for the foundation walls leveled off and installed and all that kind of thing. So it'll be like a shimming exercise and trimming at the bottom of the form. Basically, that first course, because I'm using ICF, will be a little more time consuming, but it will work. We can do it. I got to get the strip the forms off for the footings, but I don't have power at the moment because I'm waiting for my van to come back. But anyway, what was I gonna say? Yeah, the saga, how this became such a mess. So so I got the advice of some people about how to do this, and never poured concrete before, and I was told to use a slump 4, etc., etc., etc. Slump 4 being the key thing, and that was a terrible, terrible mistake. Um, Basically, the concrete truck was over on that dirt there outside of the moat, and we had a chute, that was on the truck, and then we had an extension, which is over there. I got to return that today. That was also, attached to the end of their chute, and because it wasn't just like a straight drop down out of the truck, the concrete did not want to slide down. So the entire process took us around 4 to 5 hours. I think 4 hours of actual labor. Um, to get the concrete off the truck, and it's like it's setting, you're supposed to get this done within like an hour, and we're sitting here at the 4 hour mark trying to get these things smoothed out. So that's why the top looks such a mess. We only were able to use the scree board, which is just basically a wood board where you're scraping off trying to make it level. We weren't able to float it. We weren't able to, we could barely scree it. Like we were just like jamming in, with the stick trying to get the thing to come off and flatten out, and adding water where we could, but we had limited water because we don't have resources here and all that kind of thing. So yeah, it was a total disaster. If I ever do this again, I was talking to the driver. So number one, pump truck, because they're getting the concrete out of the truck themselves. You have an extra hand. I had 1.5 helpers, so I had my brother-in-law, and then my wife was popping in. She was able to devote about half the uh, number of hours that he and I were working on it, because she had other things she had to take care of. And I wasn't expecting her help, and thank God she jumped in because we needed it. So yeah, ever do this again? Pump truck. I want a higher slump number, so like a slump 5 was suggested, a slump 6 maybe even, because then it's nice and liquid and you can just do whatever you want with it. Now, one thing that may have worked in our advantage is that when I did these pillars, so the slump 4, these are homemade kind of, I don't know what the strength rating is on them, but the slump 4 kept the pressure down, so we had no issues at all with that. The the form didn't bow. There was no problem with anything breaking anywhere. All that was 100% good. So structurally, we have exactly what we need to continue. The process was miserable, but we can move on to the next step. So I'm going to strip the forms as soon as I can, and then I'll show you in the next clip what it looks like with them off. Because I am a little concerned, actually, because I was able to use the concrete vibrator. I am a little concerned about whether or not there's going to be holes and stuff, voids, basically. There shouldn't be. I vibrated everything I believe that needed to be, but first time doing it, so we'll see what happens when I get these off. I'm starting to get the forms off, and you can see it's a little pockmarky. This area in particular we struggled with. That section there where you see it's smooth, that had a lot more water added to it later on, but there was a lot going on here with things drying too quick, so that's why it's not super smooth, I think. This side of this wall is nice and smooth. So I think basically what happened here is just it needs to be more liquid, and that'll make things all better. The form's off right now. It's going super quick, super easy. I did form oil like an hour or two before the truck came, so I don't know how much that helped or not, but it's coming off real easy, so I'm guessing it probably helped. But yeah, this is going well. The one part that kind of looks a little super ugly, hole right there. I mean, you can see it it has a finite depth to it, but yeah, it's not pretty, but it's footers, so I think it's okay that it doesn't look pretty. I mean, no, it's okay it doesn't look pretty, but structurally, the guy I was just talking to that was helping me with the excavation over there to work on the drainage stuff, he was saying this looks normal to him. So hopefully we're good to go. Those forms ended up coming off pretty easily. So just use a sledgehammer, and the guy was helping me out. He gave me a big long metal pole too, with a flat end on it I could use to wedge. But yeah, things are looking pretty good. The guy that was helping me out said that he'd seen worse from the professionals, so that's good enough for me. And definitely major learning experience. I said this earlier, but our main problem was we used that slump for trying to get it down the chute. Gravity didn't pull it down well, and it clogged up the exit of the cement truck at the top of the cement truck. So I was climbing up and down the chute and trying to get the cement to come down, and in the meantime couldn't use the vibrator all the time when I needed to, and it was a mess. So it was basically a chain reaction that was all caused by that super thick cement that we shouldn't have used. So from now on, for the walls we're using slump 5, I think the plan is now, and for the slab it'll be slump 6. And I think walls will be with the pump truck, slab will be with the chute, but it'll just flow right in, and that won't be an issue, and I can push it around. So yeah, it was a major learning experience. Glad to have done it. Now we got to clean this disaster up. Try to get all the wood somewhere that it's out of the way for the duration of the rest of the build, and then we got to start setting up walls, or forms for walls. So that's it. See you next time.